So, I hate to break it to you, but the questline that you just watched unfortunately isn't a real one. However, the questlines that come with United and Stormwind are absolutely phenomenal and really fun to play. So, let's get into it. Throughout this video, we will be talking about each of the questlines. We'll be talking about what you can expect from them, what exactly you need to do to accomplish them, and what does endgame look like. We'll also be talking about the mercenaries that the questlines feature. These mercenaries have incredibly rich backstories and make the questlines that much more interactive because they do correlate really well with their life stories. Before we start breaking down the questlines, deck building. Are you someone that struggled with deck building, not really confident in how to start, feeling unsure about what to do? This is the expansion to try. Questlines are basically giving you a goal and telling you exactly what you need to do to achieve that goal. It's really almost like an outline, and then you just fill in the middle part. Putting in the cards that you need to accomplish your quest take up a good chunk of your deck. From there, depending on the hero you're playing, all you need to do is incorporate some class-specific cards, maybe some more really powerful neutrals. Good to go. Okay, here we go. First class we are going to talk about is Paladin. The Paladin questline is called Rise to the Occasion. Basically, you're looking to play 9 separate 1-cost cards through the course of this questline. It's going to be 3, and that equips you a 1/4 weapon, followed by another 3, which upgrades your hero power, and then another 3, which gives you Lightborn Cariel, who gives all of your Silverhand recruits +2/+2. Cariel is the daughter of Cornelius Rome, who is another one of United and Stormwind legendary cards, who is phenomenal, by the way. And there was also another Rome sister, but we'll get to her a bit later. But about that other Rome sister, so everyone thought that she died in Scholomance. And Cariel felt like she needed to kind of get her life together and uphold the family name, so she joined the Silverhand, which is why when you do achieve Lightborn Cariel, you are able to give all of your Silverhand recruits +2/+2. So coming back to that questline and what exactly endgame looks like for you, if you think about it, you press that 1 hero power, and with that 1 hero power, you get 2 3/3 bodies on the board. In addition, if you play Lithraxion, those 3/3 bodies are going to have Divine Shield. There are also several spells and several other minions in the Paladin class that buff Silverhand recruits. There are some spells that give Silverhand recruits +1 attack for the rest of the game, so you're looking at a 4/3 Divine Shielded body on the board, and there are several other spells that summon 5 at once or 3 at once. So there's quite a few options in terms of building a board that repeatedly can get knocked down and rebuilt. But it looks like Cariel's about to be in for a bit of a rude awakening. You know, I can't wait. Let's go ahead and talk about her sister. Now we get to the Demon Seed questline, which is the Warlock questline featuring Tamsin Rome. So Tamsin Rome, as we know, went to Scholomance Academy. She really was like the shining star of her family. Cariel was kind of a mess. And Tamsin Rome really had her stuff together, and then the Scourge invasion happened. Now, when she finally regained her own free will, she was really upset about how she lived her life prior, and she really focused on everyone else instead of herself. So then she started focusing on herself. The Warlock questline is achieved by doing damage to yourself. After you have completed the Warlock questline, any damage that you do to yourself will instead be inflicted upon your opponent. So clearly a very important part of this deck is lifesteal. You definitely need to get some lifesteal going, especially early mid-game, so that you don't do so much damage to yourself that you can't come back from it. Keep in mind also that life tap, the hero power, does contribute to questline. Endgame for the Warlock questline looks like doing as much damage to yourself as possible, because it doesn't actually damage you at this point, it damages your enemy. So if you've already burnt through your entire deck and you're already taking card fatigue, that means that your enemy is going to be taking that card fatigue. Or if you're still playing minions that damage yourself, that means that your enemy is going to take all of that damage as well. There's a lot of power and a lot of burst damage that you can do at that point. Let's move now to Scab's Cutter Butter, the cutest little chef that ever existed. And let's probably not call him that because he was a Stormwind intelligence agent. and a mercenary. Let's try that again. The fearsome Scabs Cutterbutter, our rogue mercenary. The rogue questline is called Find the Imposter, and it is heavily based around SI7 cards. The United in Stormwinds expansion brings us many new SI7 cards that allow you to do very different things on the board. And also, Scabs Cutterbutter gives us spy gizmos, which is another very interesting board control tactic. There are several different spy gizmos, such as Fizz Flash Distractor, Spy-O-Matic, Non-and-Fog Generator, Hidden Gyroblade, and Undercover Mole. Each of these could potentially be given through the quest, but at the end you will definitely receive them from Scabs Cutterbutter himself. Moving on to the Hunter quest, we meet Tavish Stormpike through Defend the Dwarven District. Tavish is about getting the job done well, and finishing the job to get that loot. The entire Hunter questline is pretty spell heavy. So the questline consists of doing spell damage, and in return, your hero power gets upgraded in some different ways. For instance, after you finish the first part of the questline, your hero power can now target minions. When you finally finish the entire questline, you do receive Tavish Master Marksman, and he allows you to refresh your hero power anytime a spell is played. Imagine the burst damage with Arcane Shot, with Quick Shot, just getting your hero power in the middle. Phenomenal. Not to mention that the second part of the quest does bring your hero power cost down to 0. So, that being said, after you get Tavish, play very low cost spell damage to opponent's face with 0 cost hero power in the middle. Feels pretty good. Moving right along, we are now on Kurtrus and the final showdown, the Demon Hunter questline. Kurtrus's backstory is actually incredibly tragic. He's the only one left to survive after the Third War, and Illidan takes him in and makes him an Illidari, one of his elite task force. And that allows him to really train under Illidan, but Anetheron, who is yet another legendary in United in Stormwind, is the reason why he was left all alone in the first place, so Kurtrus is going to seek vengeance. The Demon Hunter questline is very heavy on card draw. The first part of the questline is draw 4, and all of those cards are reduced by 1. The second part is draw 5, and all of the cards are reduced again by 1. When you do get to utilize Demon Slayer Kurtrus, all of the cards that you draw for the rest of the game will be discounted by 2. Really interesting, very useful for large demons that you may run in your deck. I think the hardest part about this questline is making sure that you do draw those cards in one turn and that you do actually get the use out of it early enough that those discounts matter. Which inevitably discounts on cards are great at the end anyways, but if you get them early enough, you can actually pull off some pretty cool combos. Zarella is another mercenary with just a really tragic backstory. She's doing everything that she's doing in order to remove her daughter from the coma that she's in and awaken her, which is like really heartbreaking. The priest questline is called Seek Guidance. Now you're going to be looking to play a 2-cost, 3-cost, 4-cost card for phase 1, a 5 and 6 for phase 2, and then a 7 and 8 for phase 3, inevitably bringing you Zarella the Sanctified, which gives you a shard that when you play it immediately kills your enemy. Priests in general are known for longer control games, so this questline is kind of built towards that. But it is about getting it done in time to make it work. Can you do it? The hardest part, again, about this questline, similar to Demon Hunter, is that you need to get it done quickly. Unfortunately, you do have to be able to get up to 7 and 8 mana in order to get that shard, but when you get there, when you play those minions and get Zarella the Sanctified, you have a 10-cost shard in your hand that no matter what happens, will kill your opponent. Pretty cool. We have now reached Rokara, who we have already been heavily acquainted with by Forged in the Barrens, but she is now Captain Rokara and the final part of Raid the Docks. Now this warrior questline is pirates plus pirates equals the Juggernaut. Now, if you have seen my YouTube video about the Juggernaut, you will know my sheer joy when I first found out what the Juggernaut was. Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal card. So we'll get there. I'm just getting really ahead of myself. Okay, so Rokara is a very proud warrior. She was really influenced by Gromash Hellscream and wants to follow in her orc forefathers' footsteps. In the questline Raid the Docks, essentially you play 7 pirates total. This is across all steps of the questline, and you receive a Captain Rokara, who summons the Juggernaut. Now, what is the Juggernaut, you may ask? Good question. The Juggernaut, at the start of your turn, summons a pirate, equips a random warrior weapon, and shoots off 2 cannonballs to 2 random enemies that deal 2 damage each. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Like the RNG of it is just so good. Varden Dawngrasp is the mercenary for the Mage questline called Sorcerer's Gambit. In Sorcerer's Gambit, every step of the questline you have to play 1 Arcane, 1 Frost, and 1 Fire spell. Then when you are finally able to equip Varden, you are able to have spell damage +3 for the rest of the game. Varden Dawngrasp was supposed to be a magister and was studying incredibly hard and also actually studied under Kael'thas, but after the Scourge happened and Kael'thas turned his back on everyone thought that Varden had also done that as well. Unfortunately, Varden had very pure intentions and had to turn to studies all by themselves. I learned personally how much damage this deck can actually do, especially if you run Antonidas and kind of go a little heavy on the fire spells. You can get Antonidas down, potentially with a coin, on turn 7 and do some damage. We are now on our Druid questline called Lost in the Park. This questline requires you to give your hero a certain amount of attack, and upon doing so, you receive a pretty much equal amount of armor. And then at the end of it, you receive Guff the Tough, who gives your hero +8 attack and 8 armor. Guff will do anything for his friends and family. Guff is a very protective mercenary who is the nephew of Archdruid Hamul. Apologies, great nephew, my bad. He greatly cares about nature and his friends, which you can easily see depicted in this questline. You can get a lot of damage done very quickly if you have the right setup for it. The Shaman questline is called Command the Elements. The Shaman mercenary, Brukan, has had quite a long life and seen quite a few things, and is also a pretty good master of all of the elements. This questline is heavily focused on Overload. This is another one where I highly recommend if you are someone that has never built a deck before, because it is pretty straightforward and very quick. Type in Overload, you will find most cards that you are going to want to run. The main goal with this questline is to overload. After you finish the first part of the questline, you do receive those overloaded mana crystals back. So where you would normally kind of halt your progress because you're overloaded, the overload is all gone. At the end, you receive a Stormcaller Brukan, who casts each of your spells twice. This questline is a whole lot of fun, and let's also keep in mind that Doomhammer is an overloaded card. Yeah, and let's also keep in mind there are cards like Rockbiter Weapon and Stormstrike that after you have played Stormcaller Brukan and you have a Doomhammer equipped, excuse me? Now I know that the expansion has only been out for 3 days now, but have you found an insane combo? Are you memeing? Did you find something that you're doing with these quest lines that nobody else is doing? I want to hear about it. Tell me in the comments how you are making these quest lines even better than they already are. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day. Bye everyone.